This is our last day here at this RV park. And last full day, we're leaving tomorrow morning, and I need to get ready. And I figured while I was getting ready, this would be a good time to talk to y'all about all of the questions that I've been asked over the past 2 years and see if I can help you figure out how this full-time RV life thing works. One of the first things I gotta do is I gotta get the propane tanks back on, but in order to do that, that one's empty, and this RV park fills propane tanks. So I'm going into the office right now to get my name on today's propane list. Well, that was painless. It cost a little bit more to get propane in the park, but they pick it up from your trailer, they fill it up, and they bring it back to your trailer. And it saves me having to drive my big white truck to the nearest propane place, and 25 cents more, I'll take it. So the first question I get asked is, how much does it cost to be on the road like this? And to tell you the truth, it's not that bad. If you have a mortgage currently and you sell your house, you're saving money. And it really kind of depends on where you are. Some people have mortgages that are 3 digits a month. Some people have mortgages that are high 4 digits a month. So kind of figure that out. Let me put it in a little bit better perspective for you. This RV park that we stayed at for the last 4 months was a little bit under $600 a month just for the stay. Our electricity was a little bit more because they didn't include that, but the electricity was like 50 bucks a month. So that just rounds it right up to 600 a month. Is that cheaper than your mortgage? Is that more expensive than your mortgage? Because of the lifestyle that we live, we work from the RV park. Sometimes we work at the RV park. Sometimes we work near the RV park. That means I'm not really driving all that much. I do enjoy going out and visiting some of the things in the area, as you guys have seen in the videos. But overall, I drive 3 hours to the next park, and then I drive maybe an hour or so to area attraction. So I'm actually driving less than I used to drive, which was 3 hours, 3.5 hours a day, every day, back and forth, Monday through Friday for my commute. Hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes out, hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes back. It adds up, it wears down. But I did learn a lot by listening to YouTube videos while I drive. The price of groceries changes all over the country, so you really can't factor that in, but I do try to buy in bulk, and I do have a separate freezer for storing up like bulk meats when I find a good price on meats. And this RV park in particular is really nice because the grocery store is in walking distance. And if we're not getting too much, Walmart is in walking distance. And if we are, it's only, less than 2 miles away. But 2 miles with, 12 grocery bags is a pain in the butt. So we'll take the truck for that. I have to get the motorcycle loaded on the front of the truck here. So let me get that done real quick. It is currently late February in Arizona, which means I just left winter and had to take my jacket off, and now it is spring, and in a couple of hours it will be summer. That looks good. All right, that's not going anywhere. Maybe one more. The next question I get asked is, how do we get internet on the road? Right now, I am using the T-Mobile home service, and it's supposed to be discontinued, but they haven't figured it out, and they haven't had time to do any investigations, and I haven't received any issues, and it's been nice, high-speed internet this whole time. As a backup to that, first off, the T-Mobile home was like 50 bucks a month, so it's not gonna be my backup to Starlink, which is like 160 bucks a month. But as a backup to the T-Mobile home, I am using Starlink in those remote areas where I can't get the T-Mobile home. And honestly, I've been able to get the T-Mobile home everywhere since I put it online in August. It's been fantastic. Up on the mountain in Montesano at Huntsville, Alabama, I got it. And out in the desert at Quartzsite, Arizona, I got it. And those are 2 places where I couldn't get T-Mobile cellular hotspot on my phone, but I could get the T-Mobile home because it's got a more powerful radio in it. So that's it. It is T-Mobile home for internet service and Starlink for backup. And you need more than one because they don't always work. We've been pretty lucky so far this year, like I mentioned, but once T-Mobile home catches up, I think T-Mobile home costs more than Starlink does. We'll reevaluate, and there'll be an update in a future video, so be sure you're subscribed for that. I gotta get some beef jerky ready we got, like I said, a whole nother day here, so I might as well make good use of having the electricity and get the dehydrator going. I got the Ninja Woodfire XL. I have been loving this thing. It runs on electricity, which is like the only downfall, but it is a dehydrator, a smoker, a grill, an air fryer, a roaster, a broiler, a baker, like a little outdoor oven kind of thing. We make brownies, we make smoked pork butts, I make beef jerky. It's just amazing. I love this thing. Okay, this isn't gonna be awkward or anything, but I have a really, ooh, there it went. Oh, I did it, one-handed, love it. All right, I got this package I gotta get off to the UPS store. And I also, whenever I load the bike, I like to take it on a little shakedown drive to make sure that everything is okay. And I gotta get some gas. So the next question that people ask me is, what is the best RV to get? And honestly, that is a question that I can't answer for you. I can tell you how we figured all this stuff out, but I gotta put this thing in the truck and then I gotta get on the road, and I can't open the door and hold the camera and hold the box all at the same time. So I gotta put you guys down. I'll be right back, I promise, I'm sorry. Traffic jam at the old RV park. Okay, so what I did, I'm kind of waiting for the traffic to clear. What I did was I got a small RV, and I wanted the smallest RV that made sense floor plan wise and so on, because really you need to adjust to smaller living to begin with. So why not go all the way down? If you go big, what I have learned is you go big and you fill it full of stuff and you lead a bigger lifestyle, and then it's hard to shrink. But if you start small, and then you can increase if you need to. And we went from a 23 footer, which you've seen in the previous videos, to a 36 footer. And I honestly, this is a little big. It's not big from like a towing perspective. It's big because it's just big. It's like, it's big inside. You guys have seen the interior tour. And my wife and I went back and forth on this. We had to compromise a little bit. That's code word for marriage. I didn't want to have a dedicated bedroom because that bedroom doesn't get used almost all day long. So that's, 6 to 8 feet of space right there that could have been used more efficiently. And I saw a really cool cabinet. The traffic jam's cleared. I saw a really cool cabinet at the RV show at Quartzsite, Arizona, and I should have, emergency brake. I should have gotten some more footage, some more videos, some cards or something. I gotta look it up and see where it is. Because the bed folds up into this really nice looking piece of furniture. Not Murphy bed style, like you can just kind of add this, sit it in place and be okay with it. The bed just folds up and folds out of the way and looks like a piece of furniture. And now I can like put a couple of chairs in there. We can watch the TV that's mounted on the wall in the bedroom. We can enjoy what we set out to do and then not have a room that's unused in an RV all year long. And there are different RVs for different needs. I put the motorcycle on the front of the truck because I don't have a toy hauler and there's no room inside the RV to put it. I had a bunkhouse before I tore that out and turned it into my YouTube studio, and that would have been a really good place to put, kids if we were bringing kids along with us. Different thoughts, different things go into it. The longer the RV is, the more trouble you're gonna have finding campsites for it. And we have a 36-foot RV and an 8-foot bed on the truck, and that makes this 65-foot total length. And I'm watching the motorcycle out the front window as I hit a bump or 2 or 3. It looks okay. We'll check it when we get to the gas station. We don't go into like Boondockers Welcome, which would be people's farm properties, and we don't fit into harvest hosts, and there are some national parks that you don't fit into. So the longer RVs limit your options, which could be a good thing because there's a lot of stuff to see in this country. Checking the bike again. Still looks pretty good. So, your RV size has to fit your lifestyle. Is it just you? Is it you and your wife and your kids? How many pets are you bringing with you, et cetera, et cetera. So spend some time. And a really good note, if you're going to like an RV show or an RV lot and you want to look at bunkhouse models, there's about 1,000 bunkhouse models. Take a video with your cell phone. Nothing special, nothing whatever. Just leave it run, sit it on the counter while you and whomever you're going to be RVing with are talking about it. And then you can review. So when you walk in, say, this is the, Forest River Salem 36 BHBS, and we're gonna talk about what we think about it. That way you know the model and the, all the letters and everything that go with it. And then when you're in there and you say, wow, this bunkhouse is small, I can't lay down in this, you remember which one it was later when you're going to take a look. Let me get some gas. Well, some diesel, but you guys know what I mean. Real quick before I get out of the truck, fuel is one of those things that you might as well save some money on, and I use a couple of different tools for that. I use Upside and I use Mudflap currently, and there will be links in the description down below. On Upside, I've already saved, whatever you want to call it, $180 some. Last time I checked, maybe it's 160 bucks. Not a number to shake a stick at, you know, like it's pretty good stuff. This town that we're staying in, Benson, Arizona, there are no discounts around. So I just go to the nearest fuel up station and I fuel up because it's not really worth driving a half an hour to save, you know, a couple of bucks on fuel to drive a half an hour back. You're an hour on the road, you're burning more than you're saving. So what I do is I just look to see if there's some in the area. I compare the price with the discount to the price without the discount, because some of the bigger truck stops like Pilot and Love's and so on, they actually raise their prices and then they become competitive with local gas stations when you use the discount. So that's not actually saving money either. And then I go to the nearest station that uses it, the discount, or if there isn't a discount, then I just go get fuel. I don't worry about it too much, but kind of play the game a little bit. I mean, come on. It's, you know, it's like everybody goes to the casino every so often too. Let's get some fuel. So I guess that brings me to my next topic. How do we find places to stay? It's actually not as hard as you might think. What I do is I pick a long-term destination. Right now our destination is Minnesota to see the brand new grandbabies that were just born last week. In order to get up to Minnesota to see those brand new grandbabies, we're gonna need to drive. I don't like driving more than 3 hours from park to park to park to park. So what I do is I make out what I think is about 3 hours on Google Maps, and I find a town and then I say RV parks near or campgrounds near. It's a big Walmart truck driving away. Ooh, and then a big trash truck, check this out. And then we start to look for RV parks in the area and check out any discounts or anything that we might have. Right now we are members of Good Sam because we got swindled into that when we bought the new 12-volt fridge. I thought it was just one of those free sign-up swipe for rewards points, and it turns out it's a membership, and that was kind of a quick last-minute thing at the cash register. So we'll check there. We are members of Escapees for a little bit longer, so we'll try that. And we don't really use any other programs besides those two, because right now it looks like using those programs would cost us more in membership fees than we actually wind up using, because there's RV parks everywhere and they're fairly easy to find on Google Maps. So we just use those and find one. So the next one that we're staying at is it's an RV and batting cages place. Like, it seems like a very weird combination. But it's 2 hours and 45 minutes away. It'll take us 3.5 hours to get there because you don't drive at normal highway speeds. And if there's anything worth showing there, I'll show it to you in a future video. So yeah, Google Maps right now is the big winner. We've tried a couple others and they're just too complex to use compared to Google Maps. Not too bad. Okay, so I just finished dropping off that package. And I have to admit, I'm a little paranoid from working in information security all those years. This is my chain of custody. It has released from my hands. I have a receipt showing that it's at the UPS store. And then once they have the tracking information in the system, then I will get rid of this receipt. But for now, I know exactly where this is. It's right over there at the Ship Arizona Mail Pack and Receive store. Take that, Amazon. Dropping the package off leads me on to my next question, which is, how do we get mail? How do we handle packages and all kinds of other stuff? Because it's kind of tricky. And the propane's back. So I'm gonna put the propane tank back on while I tell you all about it. So there's a couple of different things. First off, packages are fun because I need stuff like today, and then I also need like normal bills and stuff like all the rest of the world does. Like, I need bills, right? What I do for packages is I will plan ahead and I will call the park that I'm going to next week. And I will see if they accept shipments or not. Some parks do, some parks don't. Some state parks do, some state parks don't. Usually a COE doesn't because there's no person at an office. I mean, there is, but there isn't, kind of thing. It's just it's a different kind of feel. And if you've been to a Corps of Engineers campground, then you know what I'm talking about. But call ahead first, verify that it's okay, get the proper shipping address. Sometimes the address that you drive to is a different address than the mailing address of the park itself. And usually they're okay with it. And what's funny is I'll pull into the park and I'll check in and I'll get like, 10 or 12 packages out of the office because I've been waiting, because some places don't accept any packages at all. And then I got to get to work making videos. But for regular mail, I use a service called Escapees. I'm not terribly happy with them because of the way their customer service works, but it does get the job done. My mail goes somewhere, it stays there until I'm ready for it. They will mail it to me if I ask them to mail it to me. And then Every piece of mail that comes in, they scan the front page so I can tell what it is, and I can say, open it up and let me see the inside. That's a fee per page. And I can say, just put it in the bucket for the next mailing without paying any extra fee to scan the inside. Or I can tell them just to throw it away because I never want to see that thing again, which is what I do with most bills. There are a couple of other ones. There's one called iPostal, which is just starting up, and this usually works out of like a local mailboxes, etc., UPS store, pack and ship store like the one I just went to. Those kind of places use a service called iPostal, and you can find iPostal online. There is another one called Traveling Mailbox or Traveling America or something like that. And these things are usually located in the more tax-friendly states, Florida, Texas, Alaska, South Dakota. If you do go into South Dakota, there has been legislation on the books for the past ever. The 3 or 4 years that we've been doing RVing and using the mailbox service, as well as way before then, before I knew about it. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so that you can't vote. And I'm not sure if it's federal level voting or if it is local level voting, but the town that we use in Livingston, Texas, for example, there's a good 50 to 100,000 people that are full-time RV that use that town, have their driver's licenses down there and pay their vehicle registration fees down there. So they really, you know, they should have a right to vote in things that matter, because those are things that you would hire representatives for, vote for representatives for. So that's why we didn't pick South Dakota. So we're Texas residents. So real quick, these things here that they have on the front of the RV to swap back and forth between the tanks and balance the tanks out, I don't like them. You can put it in this middle position and this tank will run completely dry, and then this tank will run completely dry. And then all of a sudden, your stove inside doesn't work. And not being able to cook dinner is not a really good thing. So what I do instead is I actually just leave one of them disconnected when we get to a campsite, or I leave it only set to the left side or the right side or whatever, but one side at a time. When that goes empty, which is usually like 2 a.m. when it's freezing cold outside, the heat goes off, I get cold, there's an alert that there's no propane. And I'm not completely and totally out of 2 total tanks of propane. What I do is I go out and I unscrew and screw in, because that valve is also kind of fragile. Now I'm ready to go on my second propane tank that is full, and I take the empty one with me next time I go out, or I leave it at the curbside for the campsite to fill up, or whatever the case may be. But now it's not an emergency. I've got almost a week to get this thing done. And if I am out traveling around and I don't pass by a propane place in an entire week's worth of driving, then that's also bad planning. So I try to not mess with that valve a lot for those reasons. And I also don't need to worry about any fancy electronics or Bluetooth propane tank sensor indicators, which don't always 100% work and don't connect through the metal wall of the RV inside all the way to the back bedroom where I'm sleeping, and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. I mean, Bluetooth range is 30 feet and this is a 36-foot RV, let alone the metal siding. I ain't getting back to the bedroom to figure out whether my propane tanks are full or not, so I don't worry about it. It runs dry, I swap tanks, I'm good to go. Just a little insider tip there for you. We had a hive of honeybees move in a couple of days ago. That was interesting, a little scary. They're usually pretty docile, so I wasn't too worried about it, but we did contact a local beekeeper and said, come on out and get these bees and take them to a nice safe place to keep them alive, because bees are kind of necessary. Check this out. This is what's left after the beekeeper took away the hive.
So when he was here, he said, hey guys, you guys have evidence of having a wasp nest in here, which is all this like paper stuff over in the corner. And then that is the hive that they built in less than 24 hours. They were pretty industrious. And then that hole right there where the power cord comes in is how they got in. We were actually pretty fortunate because that compartment there is where the power cord gets stored when we are traveling. And there was only this little board here that I had to unscrew in order to gain access to the hive area. And there's one of those honeybees now. I opened up the compartment that let the pheromones out, and he's looking for the queen, but she ain't in there. More stuff to do on day before travel. 2.5 hours in on the beef jerky. She's looking good. I think I need a taste test. Yep. Still can go a little bit longer. Haha, I got her on camera anyway. Okay, so I wanted to show you the vacuum, because that we've had for 2 RVs now, two plus years. And the previous RV that we had came with one of the upright vacuums with the carpet brush and everything, and there was there any carpet in that? There was like just the carpet runners that we put down inside of that RV.
So it was cumbersome, it took up a lot of space, we didn't get a lot of use out of it, but this thing here is very easy to use. We use it to vacuum out the car, we use it to vacuum out the storage compartments, we use it to vacuum out the floor in the RV. It works really good, and it uses those same DeWalt 20-volt max batteries that I use in my drill motor and in my impact driver. So 1 charger, 2 batteries, 3 tools. Can't beat it. So another quick tip on mail is get all of your bills set up on auto pay so you don't have to worry about ever missing a bill. Get one of those toll things to put in your windshield so you don't have to worry about tolls and getting those in the mail and having to pay those and the fines when they show up late because the mail service didn't scan them in, because the mail service isn't 100% reliable. If you are fortunate enough that you have a relative that is willing to accept your mail and just leave it sit, or maybe even talk to you every so often about the pieces of mail that you arrive, send it to your relative's house, and that will take care of a lot of the problems and will save you a lot of money, because all of my bills are automatic bill pay. I very rarely get a piece of mail that actually matters for any particular reason, and the best thing is I don't get any junk mail. Maintain good friendships with your family members and save yourself some money. Another hour has gone by and I feel the need to check this and sample it and see if it's okay. Looks good. Passes the taste test. Good stuff. So that is half a bottle of hot sauce, a 2-pound chuck roast. I think it's 2 pounds. It was $8. And I sliced it up and I marinated it and I put it on the Ninja wood fire grill. Put a little salt on it because it wasn't salty enough the first time. And I've got beef jerky. I'm gonna wind up with one of those gallon Ziploc containers full of beef jerky for $8 and some time at the RV park while I was doing other stuff. Can't beat it. Be sure you're subscribed because I need to do another video on how easy it is to do beef jerky. So button right below the video, subscribe, it's free. So one real quick thing about, is it cheaper to stay in an RV or cheaper to live in a house? There is maintenance involved in living in an RV. However, there's less RV than there is house. So my 36-foot RV is not the same thing as my 2,000 square foot or 4,000 square foot house. So we call this a tax surface in the security industry. There's just less stuff to break because there's just less stuff. There is the earthquake on wheels thing that we'll probably talk about, but overall it's not that bad. There's just less stuff to break, so, you know, and besides, it gives you something to do. And then it gives me something to make videos about to share with y'all. The last question I have for you is, how do we deal with extreme weather? Well, we're doing what we're doing today. We're leaving. It's gonna start getting really warm down here, really hot down here in Arizona. And yes, it's a dry heat, I know. I've heard it before, just like you have. It doesn't matter how dry it is. 90 degrees is still 90 degrees. So we go north, which is what we're doing. We're headed north where it's gonna be a nice cooler summer and stay out of the heat. And we stay out of the cold and we stay out of really bad weather. If it is forecasted to be some type of hurricane, we don't go there. If it's tornado season, we don't go there. We're in an RV park with lots of old, untrimmed, uncared after trees, which is quite frankly a lot of them. And they are calling for severe thunderstorms or high winds, something above, 25, 30 miles an hour. And usually these things come after dark when you're trying to sleep. We go get a hotel room or something because I'd rather sleep and be refreshed and have an enjoyable day tomorrow than be panicked every time the RV moves, or worse yet, have a tree fall on me and not be able to make any more videos for y'all. I wouldn't even be able to say goodbye. It's so hard. Seriously though, I have had trees fall on my house. It's not a pleasant experience. The insurance aftermath was not all that great, but we did have insurance, and you can get insurance for your RV. If you are a full-time RVer, full-time RV insurance is very different, and I don't know that I have a good solution because I haven't had to test it yet, but I do know that when I called up Progressive, for example, they wanted to know where I lived, and I told them in the RV. And they were happy to sell me an insurance policy without telling me that they wouldn't cover me because I don't have a domicile, a residential house. I was tipped off to this by a friend of mine who had insurance in Wisconsin but lived in Hawaii. He had a problem that required Progressive to step in and do their rightful insurance duties, and they decided that he didn't live in Wisconsin. Cars are meant to move. RVs are meant to move. Even if I did live stationary in Wisconsin in a house, I would hope that I wasn't only ever traveling inside the state of Wisconsin. I mean, it's possible. Wisconsin's a big state, don't get me wrong. But I paid for insurance. I should get insurance. So right now I'm using Geico. And like I said, I haven't tested it, so it's not a recommendation. We'll find out when we find out. So I hope that answers some of your questions, all of your questions, any of your questions at all. I don't know. If there are any questions, please leave a comment down below and I will answer those in a future video. In the meantime, there's a video right here I think you'll enjoy next. I'll see you over there.